Hi everybody and welcome to Crafty Studio. My name is AnnMarie, and if you don't follow this channel and know anything about me, I own a fabric shop and art shop in Dublin City, and I teach sewing there. I used to be an art teacher, but I teach sewing there, and this is my vlog about all my makes. Sometimes I do tutorials of patterns that I really like. There's a bit of a tutorial in this one, but today I'm talking about a new challenge on Instagram. I really love the challenges. I very rarely get time to do them, and this year I've actually set myself a bit of a challenge that I've put them into my calendar. Somebody told me that if you're on, this is one of my students, if you have Stash Hub, they actually let you know what challenges are happening so that you can get ready for them, and they're always a month ahead, and I never seem to be prepared for them. So I'm going to try and do the challenges ahead. So this one is called Sew Skin Summer, and that is run by the Sewing Gardener. So I'll put the details up here. I'll see if I can put a little thing up about it. Basically it's for Melanoma Awareness Month, which is May, and when I saw this I thought this is actually really strikes a chord with me. My dad passed away 7 years ago of skin cancer. It was a mole he had on his back. He didn't know it was there at all. Just, I think my brother mentioned to him, that looks a bit suspicious, maybe you should just go get it checked out. And he did, and it was skin cancer, and he didn't have long afterwards because he didn't catch it in time. They said he got the mole from not having something on his shoulders. So like, my dad was the type of person to be out fixing things for people in their gardens or out working on a car, and he'd have his shirt off and he wouldn't think anything of it. He didn't think anything of it then, like, wouldn't have sun cream. He'd have sun cream. He'd always put something on his head because he was bald and he didn't want to get burnt on his head, but he wasn't thinking about his back because he's there working away on something. So yeah, since then I've been so careful with wearing sunscreen. I wear factor 45 every single day. I'm very pale. I have his skin type, and I've had loads of moles removed since Dad passed. So it's the number one, sorry for being morbid, but it's the number one killer in Ireland, or number two after cardiovascular disease. So a lot of people think, oh, you know, there's a lot of talk about be healthy with your heart, but we kind of forget about our skin because our weather here isn't great. Like, we're not like we're living in Australia, and but you can get sunburnt and get skin damage just in a cloudy day. It doesn't have to be bright, but all the weather's been lovely lately. So this whole vlog is about sewing things for being out in the summer and taking care of your skin, which I think is brilliant. So I'm going to go through things. What I consider as like an essential to look after your skin is a long sleeve shirt. Something that's nice and light that you can throw on over an outfit. You know the way you put a cardigan on if you're cold. This is something you put on just to cover up your skin, and you want it to be able to breathe, and what kind of fabric you use anyway. So I'm going to have a chat about that, because you know what, I can never seem to find that kind of thing in the shops. Not like I don't buy any clothes in the shops anymore, but I never could seem to find those things. So I have a few patterns that I really, really like, but I have a new to me pattern. So I'll go through the other ones first and I'll get to the other one, okay? I have them written down here because if I didn't write them down, I'd completely forget about them. So the one I really liked that I found recently was the Frida Shirt by the Modern Sewing Company. I'm really liking their patterns. Now, we have a pattern printing service in our shop, so I get to see a lot of patterns, and I don't use instructions, or I don't need to use instructions. I can see what it looks like from the flat pattern most of the time, unless it's something very unusual. And this one I really like. I'll pop up a picture here, but basically it's a good beginner shirt. So if you're not confident with doing your shirt, this is a great beginner shirt because it doesn't actually have a collar, and it doesn't even have a grandad collar, which can be really tricky. People think, oh yeah, just do a collarless collar, but it still has a collar, you know, that little kind of mandarin grandad collar. I call them grandad collars because that's the part, the upstand where your collar would attach. My granddad had those hard, you know, the stiff shirts with the little buttons on the front. It was very cute. But yeah, this is a lovely one, and I've heard fantastic things about this pattern company in terms of their actual patterns and their instructions, and they have instructional videos. So if you have never actually launched into shirt making, this could be a really good one for you, because it can be very scary making shirts and trying to get everything perfect. So I'll put the details up about that one. Then the other one, let's go back to my list, is the Sew Over It Alex. Now, this is in an ebook. I'll put up some pictures here. So the Alex we made as part of a lockdown class that I did. So we did a series here during lockdown. I know we're all at home and we were sewing away. Well, I did loads of classes online, and one of them was we made this whole ebook, and the Alex shirt was one of them. And I've made tons of them since. So the big thing about it, to make it kind of, it is very beginner friendly, it's a collar, but the collar doesn't looks like a regular shirt collar, but it has no upstand. So it makes it very simple to make. So the upstand is the bit that goes up, and then the collar comes down from it. So this isn't it's not like a regular camp shirt where the lapel becomes part of the collar. This is an actual collar attached to it, so it's really nice. Then it also doesn't have a cuff. It just finishes blank at the end, and then it has an option where you can roll it up with a little tab, and I think that's absolutely lovely. And I'm one for rolling up my sleeves when I get into something, so it is a fantastic shirt a beginner shirt to throw on over things in the summer, and then like if you want to later on, then you can, like, because you should really cover up all your arms. The one thing that is aged more on me is my hands, because I do forget to put some cream on my hands, and then you're washing your hands all the time. So really, yeah, long sleeve shirts. And then the other one, I really love that one. I've made it in a washed cotton several times, and washed cotton has this crinkly effect, so you don't have to worry about ironing it. I hate ironing. Oh my god. Only pressing. I only like pressing when I'm like sewing. So I'm all on for the, like, if it's meant to look crinkled, so like something with a crepe in it. But the washed cottons are absolutely gorgeous. Then I have another one here, which is my favorite one at the moment, and it's the Friday Pattern Company Donny Shirt. Now, I made my first ever Donny recently. I have it here. I don't have it on. I took it out of the wash basket. Sorry. I wasn't prepared to have it on ready to go. So that's it there. Nice and crinkly, straight from the wash basket, lovely and fresh. Not. So I made it in an enzyme washed linen. It's one of the ones from our shop. It's quite cropped. I found, even though it was the right length for me, I just didn't feel comfortable in it, and I ended up wearing, for throwing it on, perfect, like over stuff. But on its own, I just didn't feel comfortable. I needed something underneath this. So the next one, I've added on 1.5 inches, and I'll see how that goes. That's just me personally. I just didn't like it that short. The sleeves are this little tiny short sleeve. It's lovely, easy to set in, but the collar I think is fantastic. So the way, and it has a burritoed yoke there, and the collar is lovely. It's very easy to do. The instructions are fantastic on it, and the collar just folds over, and then the front part, there's no buttons down the front, so you don't have to do buttons and buttonholes. But you know what, if you do an oversized shirt, don't do all the buttonholes. Like, just sew on the buttons and then throw it over your head. Who says you have to have buttonholes? Just sew on the buttons. Nobody's going to care. They're not going to go, oh, you have no buttonholes on your buttons. But like, you're just going to throw it over your head, so it doesn't really matter. If you want to put 1 or 2 token ones at the top so people don't see, they're not going to be looking down, where's your buttonholes? So yeah, that's a one bit of advice. Don't bother doing the buttonholes. If it's going to be if it's oversized and going to throw it over your head, it's totally fine. Yeah, I totally love this. Little bit of gathering at the back. One thing I did do differently, I cut the under collar on the bias to help it roll. I think with the linen it probably didn't make much difference. So I didn't really need to do that. I did find doing the pocket a bit tricky just to get that right, but I'm an impatient sewer. I like to get things done quickly, so I think that was more to do with my impatience. But yeah, absolutely love this pattern. I've seen it done in viscose, which is a lovely light fabric but if you're a beginner, it's going to be tricky, and it falls lovely in viscose. If you're making something for Sew Skin Summer, you don't want anything too fine, because sunlight will get through it and it won't do its job. So I would say linen, like this kind of one, or linen, this is my next one, and I just realised this is a scrap I had from the basket. Look, it accidentally cut into a little heart. Oh. So this is a cotton linen blend. It's a cotton linen chambray. So chambray technically is just a fabric that's one way is woven white and one way is woven in a colour. So it gives it this kind of speckled effect. This is absolutely lovely. I'm really enjoying working with it, and it would be really breathable in the heat of, in the sun. Excuse me. In the heat of sunlight, you really need to have something that's breathable to really help your skin breathe as well. If you have sun cream on, you're going to be sticky. So yeah, a cotton, a linen. You could go to a viscose, but it'd be trickier for newbie sewers, or a tencel, lyocell, something like that. You don't want any polyester. It's only going to feel sticky. It won't let your skin breathe. You want something nice and light. Even cotton lawn would be absolutely lovely in this. A really nice cotton lawn. Poplin might be too stiff and too heavy. Oh, excuse me. I didn't bring my cup of tea down. I left it in the kitchen. Anyway, yeah, so I'd steer clear of a heavier fabric. You want something around 100 to 120 grams, maybe max 120 grams. You could go lighter, but then if it's too light, it'll be see-through. So this is what I'm doing. But the only thing is this got short sleeves. So I've hacked the pattern. Now, I know Frida Pattern Company came out with an add-on, and you can buy that pattern, but I have so many patterns. I have like a big drawer here full of patterns, and then 2 boxes over here full of patterns, all printed, all with the instructions, and then I have some on my hard drive that I've never even used. And I said, I'm not buying another one, it's just a bit silly. So here's a little video on how I made this. I'm going to show you now. These are I haven't finished the shirt. This is my job for the week. I'm off today, so that's what I'm going to do. It's a busy week. Fizz Fest was on and everything. It was so busy. So there's my long sleeve Donny sleeves. I used a combination of the Donny Shirt and the sew over it, because it was one I had. You see, you might have one and you like the way that sleeve works, so you could use this hack for loads of things. If you have a dress and you like that sleeve, but you want, I'd like that sleeve on that dress, or the other, something like that. Totally use this method. So this was the sew over it ultimate shirt, and you can see that sleeve head is very different because it's more of a fitted shirt. So I made this one. Ta-da! So my new pattern, drew it out now, recycling some old paper misprints. So I'll pop that video up here so you can watch it now about how to make, hack the sleeve of the Donny to fit another pattern that you might have. This is the sleeve for the Donny, and I just feel like I'd like a long sleeve version of this pattern. So what I'm going to do is I know you can buy download a pattern for it, but I have so many patterns. What I'd like to do is use sleeve from this is the sew over ultimate shirt. I've cut out the cuff for it already. All the notches are done and everything, so the cuff is done. But obviously this sleeve head and this sleeve head are very, very different. But all I have to do is attach that up there, and all I want is these side seams to go in like this. So if I just find the center point there on that, so center that up, and then I'm going to trace. Can you guys see this now? Tell you what, I'll do it like this. So what I want is this sleeve head, but with this sleeve. So all I want to do is go in like this with this sleeve. So I get a bit of paper, make a brand new pattern. So I just have a lot of these. These are misprints from the printing service we do in the shop. And you might have paper, A3 paper, or some tracing paper would do the job as well. But I'm just going to use one of these because that's what I have. So let's pop this down. And I'm going to make a new pattern. Now you could just go ahead and download the pattern that's there on their website, and they've made it all handy so you don't have to do this, but I just feel I have so many patterns I don't want to have to buy another one. So I'm just folding them both in half, and that way I get the center point. So I basically put the half there, the half line. I did find this sew over it one slightly short for me, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit so it's not fully, you know, at the top. I can always make it shorter if it's gone too long. I'm going to get some pattern weights. Some little pattern weights on there. I can't remember where I got these. I'm so sorry, guys. They were a gift from my husband. Somebody got them. If you know online and I can share it, I can't remember. Somebody had got them online, and then I shared the link because I thought they were super cute. So I might just do this with a Sharpie so that you can see it. If I normally do in pencil, but you know, you won't be able to see this. So I'm going to draw a line. So this is the end of my shirt, cuff of my sew over it one to the top of my Donny Shirt pattern. So you can see that line there. And then I'm going to trace around here. I don't mind if it makes marks. Just putting all those notches in. So if you have any kind of pattern and you're thinking, oh, I'd love the sleeves of that one, but I'd like them on the top of that one. You could totally do that. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. You literally can do this, say, you just had the sleeve head has to be the same as the bodice. So you could mix and match. These quilting rulers are great for this kind of thing. Just putting my little notches in. That's to match up the notches there. For my cuff, I don't need the notches for my this one because I'm not using that sleeve head. This part is going into the sleeve head. And I'll do the same here. So I'm not going to put the lengthening and shorten line on because I know what it's like. It's already there. And I'll scooch these over. Oh, I've moved my grain line. Okay, let's fix that. Let's put that back there. That goes back there. So your grain line should be parallel to this. So I'm just going to put those on. So this is my grain line now, my new grain line. We need to mark this so it doesn't go missing. So, or if it does go missing, I know where to put it back to. So this is the Donny long sleeve, and then the size, what size did I do of the Donny? Oh, I don't know. Size 10 to 12. Now, so then I cut that out with a paper scissors. I should be good to go. So I hope you enjoyed that. I went and got my cup of tea while you were watching that. I will put up a full tutorial if it works out, because I've been known to not press record sometimes while I'm doing a tutorial, and I'm like, ta-da, it's like sewing and your bobbin is empty and you think you've finished and it all goes horribly wrong. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you are doing something to do with summer clothes cover-ups, have a look at the Sewing Gardeners Instagram page and put it up there. There's a few prizes to be won. It's a good challenge. It's the first year it started, so share the love, and hopefully I will see you all again soon here. Don't forget to click the subscribe and the little bell, and you'll hear when I put up my Donny tutorial. Bye for now. Bye bye.